Good afternoon, fans. This is your girl from Mel'S Match Hut, and this is your official AEW Full Gear 2022 review. How is everybody doing today? Um, I don't have any makeup on due to the fact is that I did a facial last night, and I can't put any makeup on the day after it. It kind of breaks apart, and I spend way too much money on my makeup, so I can't put any on. So this is what you're gonna get. Um, I had allergic reaction to a I had accidentally licked in an envelope and I got allergic reaction to this. So if you're seeing this stuff on my lip, that's the case. Um, Full Gear last night. There was some matches that shouldn't have been on it. There were some matches that definitely needed to be on it. All in all, we have a new face of a company that desperately needs a revamp. That's number one. Number two, we need to get rid of interim fucking titles, okay? This is ridiculous. Before you take or you have the person step down, you say, how long are you going to be out? If it's more than 2 months, you are no longer champion. You will get it immediately a new an opportunity when you get back. That is absolutely part of the situation. But you are not going to do this interim shit anymore. It's ridiculous. And my hair is like sick today. It's like but we have a new interim champion, we have a new TNT champion, and we have a new world champion. Also, today, this morning, when I woke up, oh my fucking Jesus, fucking hit the fan. We have a new, first time ever, Iwgp Women's World Champion, and her name is Kairi Sane. Absolutely best possible outcome. She is well known. Everybody know who she is. She worked for WWE. She was NXT Women's Champion. So that was a great decision, Tony. Not Tony. New Japan. Speaking of New Japan, if you want to, if there was a reason to watch Wrestle Kingdom, you have an unbelievable opportunity. We are going to have the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion going against the cleaner himself, Kenny Omega. So, Wrestle Kingdom, just by that, needs to be must see. We had the ups and downs and everything like that. But all in all, it was a good show. It was not a great show, in my opinion. It was wrestling on a Saturday night that unfortunately costs people $50. But it is now that Tony finally got his head clear through this investigation, and now we're gonna have a brand new going forward. We also got last night that the with the Trios Championship, we have a best of 7 series. That's just going to be, I don't think it should be 7. I think it should be 5, and then that's it. I mean, that's a little much, but I'm not the one that makes the rules, and Tony Khan makes the rules. But I'm going to, as we're going through this, I'm going to tell you the match shouldn't have been, and I'm going to tell you that the number one off the cuff and everything, and off the top of my head, was the tag team match between Darby Allin and Sting versus Jay Lethal and Sting. That was not needed on Full Gear. That could have been something for Winter is Coming, have that big match, because that's where Sting debuted. So that, I think, should have been, they would have had time more to build it up. And if you're telling me that it was all in the plans for Jeff Jarrett to fucking be on Full Gear, you be lying. Okay? So we had title changes. We had a title that was recovered, and we had a woman that finally gets it, and finally it's not all about her. It's a team um it's a team effort when it comes to the women's division in AEW. Now, if we could build what we had last night between Paige and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and um, Soraya, with and on top of having that, having the Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter, having them start this, and this is a good foundation to then take the women's division in the next level. But all in all, it, some matches were missable, some matches weren't missable. As I'm going to keep going through, I'm going to tell you that this could have been on Winter is Coming, and or even on regular old fashioned Dynamite, and it could have been built up for like 2 or 3 weeks, and because their next pay per view is not until next year, so they need to have big Dynamites. So Full Gear was emanating from The Rock, the Prudential Center in New Jersey. Tri-state area, we already knew what was going to happen with the MJF situation, but we didn't know how it was going to happen. I kind of had a feeling, but the way it happened was fucking crazy awesome. I am a New Yorker through and through. I'm a Long Island girl through and through. I'm a Nassau County girl through and through. I am proud to have MJF hold the AEW World Championship because he came from Nassau County. I am beyond proud to have him hold that title. It's a New Yorker. Not many things that have come out of New York are great. And this is put on the list of being great, and I am looking forward to his title defenses. I'm looking forward to who his opponents are. I'm also looking forward to the rivalries he's going to have. And now, if fucking Tony Khan doesn't give him the time off, then we're having issues. Now we're having serious issues, and I just don't want them to be using in-house talent. Use the in-house talent first, but I would love to have a possible maybe a Jay White come in and face MJF. I would love to have a Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsu Naito, Kenta. Kenta would be a great person to come in, but he's like kind of a heel. But I like to have those caliber of guys come in and challenge MJF for the AEW World Championship. Now we're gonna get into the results, and we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on how the match was in my own personal view. But we can't do anything until I promote my stuff that I normally do. Please do me a favor. Go check out harrys.com and get all your shaving and toiletry essentials. Please go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com and get all your beard essentials. Please do me a favor. Please go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com and check out the brand new 3 flavors, which are lime, mixed berry, and orange mango. Also, please go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com and check out all their coffees and all their merchandise. It is awesome. I love it. I love the taste of their coffee. It's delicious. I'm more privy to the pumpkin pumpkin spice chai, but it's now discontinued until next year. But you can always go get the gingerbread, which is which I'm on the fence. I really want to taste it, but I don't want to commit myself to 10 K cups for like $20. It's ridiculous. Um, but there's also I don't know if it's brought back, but they have the blueberry vanilla. They also have dark and medium roast. They have a Valhalla and a limited time only. They have a rum ball, and it's like the chocolate notes and stuff like that. You're gonna love it. And they also have espresso. So go check all that out. Now, December 16th, House of Glory is going to be back on Possible Fight TV, and go check them out. Go check them out. All their the ones that they have been on Fight TV, go check that out. Um, Go also check out, if you're in the tri-state area, go check out Exodus. Go check out, I think it's Exodus if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. But go check out that. And we have our first match. It's Kenta from the Bullet Club from IWGP, New Japan. And he's going to be taking on House of Glory's own Low Key. So that's going to be a really good fucking match. That alone is going to get me to watch. So go check that out. And if you're in the area, go get your tickets. Everything is on the website, hogwrestling.net. Also, please go check out in the greater Pennsylvania area, Sanctuary and Outbreak Wrestling. So let's get this party started. And we're gonna go right into 0 Hour. Now, I didn't personally watch this because I was busy doing stuff last night. So this is all news to me. AEW Atlantic Champion, Freshly Squeezed Orange, and the Best Friends versus The Factory. QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, Aaron Solo, Lee Johnson, and Cole Carter. The Best Friends hit a shoulder tackle on Aaron Solo. Trent's chopped away at Solo in the corner turnbuckles. Rocky Romero did the forever clotheslines on Lee Johnson and finished it off with a big uppercut. QT Marshall jumped in and got bounced around by right hands from Chuck, Trent, Rocky, and Orange. Cole Carter attempted a frog splash, but Trent lifted his knees and Carter crashed down below. Trent hit a desperation suplex on QT Marshall. Camarado and Orange Cassidy tagged in for their teams. Orange Cassidy blasted Camarado with a shotgun dropkick and then used a double Hurricane Rana on Solo and Johnson. All members of the Factory got involved and ganged up on Orange Cassidy. Trent tagged in and landed a DDT on QT. Orange spiked Lee Johnson with a DDT. Chuck, Rocky, and Trent wiped out the Factory on the floor with a tope suicida. In the ring, QT countered the Orange Punch from Cassidy with a cutter. QT was looking to pile drive Orange on the steps, but Danhausen's music hit. Danhausen entered the match and hit QT with a German suplex. Danhausen grabbed his jar of teeth and sprinkled them down Camarado's mouth before kicking Nick in the mouth and pinning him. So they won. They picked up the victory. Renee Paquette was backstage with the newest member of the AEW roster, Kinoshi Takeshita, if I'm probably butchering it. Takeshita, I am honored to join AEW Wrestling. My dream has come true. I am going to move to America and fight for my life for AEW. Next match. All Ego Ethan Page joined the commentary booth as he will be facing the winner of the Dynamite on Dynamite this Wednesday. So this wasn't part, but this was the final semifinals. The Machine Brian Cage with Prince Nana versus Absolute Ricky Starks. Both men were part of the original Taz team here in AEW, observed Tony Schiavone. Starks and Cage slugged it out. Cage whipped Starks into the steel guardrail outside the ring. Cage suplexed Stark from the outside of the ring and back into the ring. Cage cracked Starks with a backbreaker and then booted him in the face. Stark rallied back with a diving crossbody off the top turnbuckle, and Cage intercepted him and hit another backbreaker on Starks. Starks appeared Cage for a near fall. Cage powerbombed Starks into the turnbuckle and then moved Starks over. Mowed Starks over the discus lariat for a 2 count. Brian Cage went for an elbow drop, but Starks dodged it. Starks smashed Cage with a destroyer and then pinned Cage after the rose shampoo. So now Starks is going to be taking on Page this Wednesday, and the winner will get a title opportunity against MJF. Jun Akanama versus Mad King Eddie Kingston. Kingston blocks a jumping knee from Akanama. Kingston chopped at Akanama's chest, and Akanama fired back with shots of his own. Kingston knocked Akanama off the turnbuckle with massive right hands. Akanama DDT Eddie on the apron and then dropped the guillotine knee across the back of Kingston. Akanama hit a pile driver on Kingston for a near fall. Akanama ate machine drop kicks from Eddie Kingston, and then Akanama hit an exploder suplex. Kingston retaliated with his own exploder suplex. Kingston spiked Akanama on the crown of his head with a well-timed DDT. Kingston rocked Akanama with a spinning back fist for a near fall. Akanama came back with an exploder suplex and then cracked Eddie in the face with a running knee strike. Kingston walloped Akanama with a Northern Lights bomb. Kingston hit the spinning back fist and pinned Akanama. And that was a battle for sure, said Taz. So then after the match, he wanted to thank Tony Khan. He wanted to, basically be humbled that he had the opportunity to be on the pay-per-view, even though it was 0 hour. So that was the end of 0 hour. We started off with the steel cage. Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus. Jim Ross came to the commentary booth for Full Gear. Jack Perry jumped off the ropes with a missile dropkick to Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy's momentum was stopped by a big boot from Luchasaurus, who then threw Jungle Boy into the side of the cage with like a lawn dart. Luchasaurus raked Jungle Boy's forehead against the steel steps, busting him wide open. Luchasaurus repeatedly rammed Jack Perry's face first into the cage. Jungle Boy went after Luchasaurus' arm, grabbing an arm bar. Luchasaurus was able to defend, choke slamming Jack Perry off the top rope. Christian Cage snatched the cage keys from Mike Posey, but Mike Posey caught him and ordered security to take Christian Cage back to the locker room. They started brawling outside the cage on the arena floor. Jack Perry tried for a dropkick, but Luchasaurus countered by catapulting Jack Perry into the side of the cage. Luchasaurus shoved a table through the cage door and into the ring. Luchasaurus tossed the steel chairs into the ring too. Back in the ring, Jack Perry dropped Luchasaurus into the cage. Jungle Boy spiked Luchasaurus with a pile driver for a near fall. Jack Perry swung a steel chair at Luchasaurus. Jack Perry climbed to the top of the steel cage and dropped an elbow off the top, down onto Luchasaurus, who was on the table below. Jungle Boy locked in the snare trap and forced Luchasaurus to tap out. That was a war. I don't know how you can write down a better start to that than what we just witnessed, Jim Ross. Now, I didn't like the cage, how it's designed. Okay? It's really, to me, it's dangerous. Because there's actually a gap that if you push the cage, you can have somebody right there. That is dangerous. Okay? That's number one. And then when you're coming into the cage, You have to kind of step over a bar. Why did we need that? Why do we need that? Have it flush with the fucking goddamn ring. I mean, they made a cage that was a cross between the War Games cage and a steel cage and the Hell in the Cell. Use a standard cage. It's not that hard. You made this look a lot more aggressive than it already needed. And I didn't like that you couldn't escape to win because it was only pin or submission. Why do you need that? That doesn't make sense. You are trying to get out to win the fucking match. It's not, oh my God, it's not that big of a, it's not that hard. And I miss the days where there was no fucking referee in the cage. It was, you were stuck in there and then you had to fight your way out. I want to bring that back. I want to bring that back. I need that. No more pins and submissions in a steel cage. And the way you get out is over the top or through the door. That's it. It's very simple. Stop making it complicated, okay? I've seen better cage matches. I didn't like this at all. Death Triangle. Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero Miedo, and the Bastard Pack versus the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. Matt Nick Jackson were ready to take on the Death Triangle for the Trios Championships. The arena lights went dark. When the lights came back on, the Elite made their long-awaited return. The fans chanted, "Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back." Nick Jackson and Rey Fenix traded and countered amazing offense. These teams know each other well, and they are well scouted, said Don Callis. He's also back. The Bucks and Luchasaurus traded kicks and knocked each other's down. The Bucks finally landed super kicks and knocked down all the members of the Death Triangle. Kenny Omega was tagged in and took down Penta El Zero Miedo with Hurricanrana. Nick Jackson hit Rey Fenix with a Hurricanrana. Kenny Omega had Penta El Zero Miedo hoisted on his shoulders, then Pac dropkick Kenny in the knee. Omega hammered Pac with right hands. Omega walloped Penta El Zero Miedo with Snapdragon suplexes and then served one up to Pac. Omega jumped over the top rope, hit Pac and Rey Fenix outside the ring, and landed on his feet. Matt Jackson spiked Phoenix with a DDT on the apron. The fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Nick Jackson sent Penta El Zero Miedo flying off the top turnbuckle down on a pile of Death Triangle outside the ring with an amazing Hurricanrana. Omega picked up Pac and then dropped him on the head first across Omega's knee. Pac avoided the V-trigger from Omega and sent Omega flying with a German suplex. The Death Triangle nailed the Elite with a triple trombone. Pac splashed Omega with a black arrow and then locked in the brutalizer. Nick Jackson broke the hold up. Nick tossed a hammer to Rey Fenix, but Rey Fenix didn't want it and threw it back at Pac. Kenny blasted Rey with a V-trigger and then the Tiger Driver 98 for a near fall. The fans chanted, "Fight forever, fight forever." Penta El Zero Miedo dropped the Elite with 3 sling blades. The Elite fired back with triple super kicks. They hit Rey with a BTE trigger. Pac and had the hammer in his hand and went to whack Omega, but Nick Jackson super kicked Pac. Kenny Omega decimated Rey Fenix with the V trigger. Pac placed the hammer in Rey's hand, Rey Fenix's hand. Omega lifted up Rey for one wing angel, but Rey Fenix smashed Omega in the head with the hammer and rolled up Omega for the win. And I'm glad that they didn't give him the titles, because then it was like, oh, they came back from suspension and they really didn't know, and they didn't really learn their lesson. This is an abomination, said Don Callis. Ray Phoenix is upset with himself. This is not how he and Penta El Zero Miedo wanted to win, replied Excalibur. So this is going to be for the best of 7, which I think it should be for best of 5, but I'm not Tony Khan. I think that is just a little too much. They could spread it out a little evenly. So for the next how many weeks we're going to be seeing these 3 in the ring? Not what I want to see. TBS Championship match. Jade Cargill versus the Native Beast, Nyla Rose. Nyla made her entrance in a lowrider, where Vicky had on I'm Your Poppy in a tribute to her late husband because of his anniversary had just came up. Speaking of that, I got Rhea Ripley's I'm Your Mommy t-shirt. Of course I had to. It was a given. I'm a mom, all right? So I'm able to legitimately wear it, and I am actually somebody's mommy, all right? Jade sent Nyla spinning over the barricade with an explosive pump kick. Back in the ring, Nyla splashed Jade in the corner and then slammed her. Nyla is testing the undefeated champion right here, said Excalibur. Nyla rammed Jade with a cannonball splash in the corner. Jade managed to drop Nyla with a boot to the temple. Jade jumped off the turnbuckles, but Nyla got her boot up and followed up with a neck breaker for a near fall. Nyla dropping a diving knee down onto Jade, who was strung across the top rope. Jade escaped the beast bomb and struck Nyla with a forearm. Jade used a beast bomb on Nyla for a 2 count. A lot of power there by the TBS champ, said Taz. Nyla planted Cargill with Jaded, but Jaded kicked out at 2. Nyla missed a senton on Timonico as Jade rolled out of the way. Jade rocked Nyla with a pump kick and then planted her with a Jaded, pinning Nyla in the center of the ring and reclaiming her title. She was dressed as a Thundercat or whatever it was. Sweetheart, you're pulling a Johnny Gargano here. So let's move on here and stop doing this shit. Allow him to do it because he's the one that actually was doing it before you, and he made it cool, all right? You're just making it a joke. Ring of Honor World Championship. Chris Jericho versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara versus Claudio Castagnoli. Danielson rocketed out of the ring with a tope suicida to Sammy. Jericho grabbed Danielson and whipped him into the metal ring steel steps. Claudio and Danielson teamed up with tandem offense on Jericho. They turned their attention to Sammy. The 2 Blackpool Combat Club members took turns on Jericho and Sammy. Claudio and Bryan shook hands and exchanged uppercuts. Bryan grabbed an armbar on Claudio, but Claudio hoisted Bryan up. They each countered with pinning predicaments, and Jericho jumped in to break up and save his championship. Sammy rocked Danielson and Claudio with a double cutter off the ropes. Jericho hugged Sammy and patted him on the back. Jericho and Sammy sent Claudio to the outside with a double clothesline. Sammy and Jericho dropped Danielson with a standing delayed vertical suplex. Sammy and Jericho double-teamed Danielson in the corner. Danielson had enough and clocked Jericho and Sammy with roundhouse kicks. Sammy hit the Spanish Fly on Danielson, but Jericho used the Lion's Hold on both of them. Claudio grabbed Jericho from behind with a gut-wrench suplex. Claudio stomped on Jericho's chest for a near fall. Jericho countered Claudio with a code breaker, but Sammy pulled Jericho off Claudio. Sammy and Jericho had a stare down. He's in the principal's office now," said Taz. Sammy and Jericho had a hockey fight, hitting each other with stiff shots. Sammy took Jericho's move, hitting Jericho with the code breaker for a near fall. Jericho rallied back and trapped Sammy in the walls. Danielson tried for a diving knee, but Jericho let go Sammy and locked Danielson in the walls. Claudio smashed Jericho with big boots and then suplexed Jericho. Claudio applied the sharpshooter to Jericho. Danielson put Jericho in the label lock at the same time. Sammy fend them off with two thrust kicks. Sammy hugged Jericho, but then smashed Jericho with the GTH. Sammy followed up with the shooting star press for a near fall on Jericho. "We were a second away from crowning a new Ring of Honor champion," said Jim Ross. Claudio slammed Sammy onto Jericho, who was outside the ring. Brian rallied Claudio with a running knee for a 2 count. Claudio turned Danielson for a loop with a powerful lariat. Sammy used a Spanish fly on Danielson, but Danielson transitioned into label lock. Jericho broke up the hold. Claudio caught Danielson and planted him with a neutralizer on the arena floor. Sammy shot off a top rope with a shooting star press onto Claudio. Back in the ring, Claudio clocked Sammy with a European uppercut for a 2 count. Claudio spun Sammy with the giant swing until Jericho wrecked Claudio with a Judas effect, pinning Claudio. Jericho is still a man of Ring of Honor, said Jim Ross. They got to start setting up for the title to be taken off of him. That's plain and simple. So who do you think it should be? Should it be somebody from the Jericho Appreciation Society? I mean, for Christ's sakes, I don't know who it would be, honestly. There's plenty of people that could take that opportunity. It should be also a Ring of Honor original before they closed down because of the pandemic and before they signed, before Tony Khan bought the promotion. But it was a fun match. It was a great match. You know, it did what it needed to do. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Saraya. Britt and Saraya locked up with Britt putting Saraya in a headlock. Britt used a shoulder tackle on Saraya, and Saraya went down, clutching her neck. Saraya collected herself and got back up, and booted Britt with a thrust kick. Britt used a twisting neck breaker on Saraya on the arena floor, but Britt continued to work over Saraya's neck with a neck breaker in the ring. Britt put her surgical glove on, looking for the lockjaw. Saraya had it scouted. Saraya had a crossbody press on Baker. Saraya battered Baker with 3 lariats. Baker smashed Saraya with the air raid crash. Baker followed up with a curb stomp for a 2 count. Saraya rallied back with a power bomb to Baker off the turnbuckle. Britt countered a full Nelson from Saraya used the lockjaw. Saraya escaped after a roll-up. Saraya staggered Britt with a thrust kick and then a running knee. "Man, these ladies are laying it in," said Taz. Britt stomped Saraya a second time, but Saraya kicked out on the pin attempt. Saraya ran straight through Britt with a knee strike. Saraya impaled Baker with 2 DDTs and pinned Baker. "Saraya wins, and it wasn't easy," said Jim Ross. What a gutsy performance from Soraya after 5-year layoff, added Excalibur. Now, her brother was there, her family was there, and that was a really good thing. They are they have renamed I think it was called Rampage. Now it's called another name. I think it's the night something Nights. So she turned it in, so it's a different name, but it has Night, Knight. Um Britt put her over, and I'm glad she did. Now her redemption is now starting. Britt. She doesn't look like the fucking Charlotte anymore. She's looking like that she wants to um, make this division successful. And that's all I care about. TNT Championship match. Warlow versus Ring of Honor World Champion Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Warlow went right after Samoa Joe, blasting him with forearms and knee strikes. Powerhouse Hobbs just paced around the ring, letting Warlow and Joe tear each other apart. Then Hobbs jumped out of the ring and smacked Warlow into the metal ring steps. Hobbs hammered the chest of Warlow. Joe interjected and fired chops at Hobbs, but Hobbs suplexed Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe battled back with a running boot across the side of Hobbs' face. Samoa Joe booted Warlow and then sat out with a senton. Sorry. Warlow tackled Joe and then rammed Hobbs in the corner. Warlow planted Samoa Joe with a spinebuster. Warlow shoulder tackled Hobbs, sending him into the arena floor. Samoa Joe jumped on both of them with a tope suicida. Hobbs charged at Samoa Joe and speared him into the barricade. Hobbs rocked Warlow with a spinebuster for a 2 count. Warlow powerbombs Hobbs and then hits a second powerbomb on Hobbs. Samoa Joe cracked Warlow from behind with the title belt and then choked out Hobbs. Samoa Joe is now the TNT champion and the Ring of Honor World TV champion, said Excalibur. Somewhere in Connecticut, Triple H is one happy papa. I know for a fact that Triple H would still like to have him in WWE. And I get it. I totally get it. I miss him too in WWE. He belonged there. He belonged there. He would have gotten more exposure to doing like voiceovers and shit like that, and he's got a great voice to do voiceovers. Maybe he would have done some actual movies. Who knows? All right. That match should have also been on TNT. That match should have never ever been on pay-per-view. That would have been a perfect match to end on Dynamite this Wednesday. That's one of them, and the Jay Cargill match. Those are the 3 matches that I would have gladly put on Dynamite. Have it Full Gear Wednesday, titles galore or something like that. So it's like a carryover, so you have to watch Wednesday. So it's like a continuation of the pay-per-view. But that's just me. This is another match. This should have definitely been on fucking goddamn Dynamite. Sting and Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal and Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Sting and Darby pinballed Jarrett with shots. Darby suplexed Jarrett on the floor. Darby attempted a coffin drop off the ladder onto Jarrett, but Sadama Singh caught Darby and then hurled him onto the ramp. Sting jumped from his section in the arena and splashed down onto Saddam Singh. Darby fought his way out of the abdominal stretch from Lethal. They collided heads. Sting got the tag and hit a Stinger splash in the corner on Lethal and Jarrett. Sting applied the Scorpion Deathlock on Jarrett. Sanjay jumped on the ring and Saddam Singh chokeslammed Sting. Sting is in bad shape now, said Taz. Jarrett covered Sting, but Sting knocked out before the 3 count. Darby tagged in and he and Lethal exchanged blows. Lethal connected with a lethal combination for a near fall. Darby went over the top with a stunner to Lethal. Darby went for the coffin drop, but Jarrett jumped in and cracked the spine of Darby with a guitar. What a swing, said Taz. Darby jumped to his feet with like a man possessed and blasted Lethal and Jarrett with strikes. Sting was trying for a Scorpion Death Drop on Saddam Singh, and Darby jumped off the top rope with a coffin drop to aid Sting. Darby hit coffin splash on Lethal and pinned him. So Sting and Darby Allin win. Big deal. Now, I will consider this, now this is women's wrestling. I am glad that this match went the way it did. I am glad that another person, and it's not a monopoly now. I don't think they should have year titles because there's so many women to get opportunities. So hopefully it's not like that going forward. And this interim shit has to fucking go. Has to fucking go. And supposedly Thunder Rose is not hurt. If that's the case, get her fucking back or strip her of the title and fire her. That's it. AEW Interim World Women's Championship. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter. Hayter grabbed a side headlock on Storm. Tony reversed it with a headlock of her own, followed by a shoulder tackle. Storm hit shotgun dropkick and sent Hayter soaring outside the ring with a running hip attack. Storm pounded away with a sledgehammer fist to Hayter. Thank you, Papa H, for that. Jamie Hayter whipped Tony into the steel guardrail. Tony shoved Hayter into the steel ring post. Tony tried to chop at Hayter, but Hayter ducked and Tony smashed her own hand into the steel ring post. Hayter hit a snap suplex on Storm. Tony rallied back with a hip attack on the corner to Hayter. Storm followed up with a swinging DDT for a near fall on Hayter. Rebel snuck down to the ring. Hayter and Storm battered one another in the middle of the ring. Storm's nose was busted open. Rebel clocked Storm with the belt. The ref didn't see it. Hayter used the sliding lariat on Storm for a 2 count. Ref Paul Turner ejected Rebel from the ringside area. Storm tried for a hip attack by Hayter. Moved. Storm tumbled out of the ring. Baker snuck up and cracked Tony in the head with a belt. Hayter tried to pin Tony, but Tony kicked out. Tony spiked Hayter with Storm Zero, but Hayter's kicked out. Storm knocked Baker off the apron, and when Storm turned around, Hayter was there to hit Storm with the hate breaker for a near fall. Baker removed the turnbuckle pad. Hayter whipped Storm into the exposed turnbuckle, hit her with a ripcord lariat, and then pinned Tony Storm for the win. Jamie Hayter is the new AEW Interim World Champion. Just want to quickly check this. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Acclaim versus Swerve in Our Glory. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Bowens used a rolling elbow strike on Keith Lee. The Acclaim hit a double clothesline on Keith, sending him over the top rope. The Acclaim smashed Swerve with the scissor knee timbers. Swerve retaliated by whipping Caster into the steel guardrail. Swerve popped a barricade across the a barricade across the edge of the ring and back in the ring. Keith Lee smashed Bowens with an overhead chop. Swerve tried to suplex Bowen onto the guardrail, but Bowens countered with a suplex of his own. Keith Lee worked over Bowens' injured arm and shoulder. Keith Lee had butted Bowens. Swerve tagged in and rocked Bowens with a running sub to the shoulders. Keith Lee hoisted up Bowens, but Bowens countered with a reverse Hurricane Rana. Caster tagged in and cleaned house on Swerve in Our Glory. Keith Lee waffled Caster with a overhead chop. Caster shoved Keith Lee off the top turnbuckle and followed it up with a leg drop. The Acclaim used tandem offense on Swerve, with Bowens getting a near fall on Swerve. Caster jumped off the top rope with a crossbody block onto Keith Lee through the propped up steel guardrail. Swerve wrecked Bowens with a four-legged kick to the skull. Swerve was looking for the Swerve stomp, but Bowens dodged it. Bowens nailed Swerve with a arrival, and Caster followed it up with a mic drop, but Keith Lee broke up the pin attempt. Keith Lee tagged in and ran over Max Caster twice in a row. Lee pounced on Bowens. Caster kicked out of the fall from Glory. From Lee and Swerve, Keith Lee powerbombed Caster onto Bowens. Swerve grabbed a pair of pliers and was going to use them on Daddy Ass. Sprinted until Daddy Ass sprinted down to make the save. Swerve handed the pliers to Keith, but Keith Lee threw them down. Swerve slapped Keith across the face, and Keith walked out on Swerve. Bowens connected with a combination on Swerve. Caster clobbered Swerve with a springboard dropkick. The Acclaim planted Swerve, and Bowens pinned him, and they retained the titles. What's going to be the dynamic with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland? Just gonna have to know, but who's going to be the Acclaim? Who's going to be the next people to challenge for the titles? We shall find out. I think it should be FTR. In fact, I just wanted to mention a little bit on FTR. I think it was Cash Wheeler, if I'm not mistaken. He posted, he's like, yeah, I'm going to watch this match because it's been the 6-year anniversary when they were at TakeOver. I think it was Brooklyn. And they faced DIY for the NXT Tag Team Champions. So that was pretty cool. Main event time. AEW Championship match. World Championship match. Jon Moxley versus William Regal. Yeah. Versus MJF. Mox slapped MJF across the face at the start of the match. MJF slapped Mox back. Moxley started laying in heavy shots. Moxley bit down on MJF's forehead. MJF was the babyface, and Mox was playing the heel during the match. MJF stomped a mud hole into Mox, but the champ rallied back with a hard clothesline. Moxley planted MJF with a Falcon Arrow and then transitioned into an armbar. Outside the ring, Moxley whipped MJF into the steel ring steps. MJF retaliated with a desperation clothesline inside the ring. MJF jabbed at Moxley and then knocked him down with a left-hand hook. MJF countered with the Paragon shift, whipping Moxley into the turnbuckles. Moxley waited on MJF and then rocked him with a cutter. Moxley grabbed MJF's wrist and then started to stomp on MJF's head. Brutal beatdown, said Taz. Nailed Moxley with a tombstone piledriver on the apron. In the process, MJF injured his left knee. Moxley smashed MJF with a piledriver on the apron through the table. Moxley crunched MJF with a paradigm shift. Moxley applied the figure four on MJF. Finally, MJF reversed it, but Mox grabbed the ropes to force the ref to break. Both the champ and challenger are clutching their knees. MJF waffled Mox with the heat seeker for a near fall. Moxley tried for another heat seeker, but Mox shoved him off and blocked MJF's leg. Moxley took MJF and dropped him with an avalanche paragon shift. Oh my God, that was fucking crazy. Holy shit. I was legitimately like fucking godsmacked after that. And I'm not kidding. Crazy move. Mox and MJF slugged it out in the center of the ring with forearms. Mox charged at MJF, but MJF pulled the ref into Moxley's path, and Mox collided with the ref. MJF pulled out his Dynamite Diamond ring. William Regal walked to the ring and ordered MJF to put the ring down. MJF threw the ring down. Moxley grabbed MJF from behind with a bulldog choke, and in the process, the second referee was knocked down. Moxley locked on the bulldog choke, and MJF was tapping, but the ref didn't see it. Regal slid in brass knucks to MJF, and MJF cracked Moxley in the head. MJF pinned Moxley, and we have a new AEW World Champion, MJF. William Regal just sold his soul to the devil himself, said Tony Schiavone. MJF era begins tonight at All for the All Elite Wrestling, replied Excalibur. So, yeah, it was crazy. It was fucking crazy last night. I'm happy that MJF is the new champion. Well overdue. I'm glad he never won the TNT championship. I'm glad that this is his official first ever title. I'm not counting the Dynamite Diamond ring. And I'm glad that he is champion. I'm even more happier that he's champion because he's from New York. He's exactly 19 fucking minutes away, his hometown. I swear to God, you go put yourself in the middle of Nassau County, everything is 20 minutes away. I kid you not. If you know Nassau County like the back of your hand, like I do, every place is 20 minutes away. I swear to you. Stick yourself in the middle of Nassau County. 20 minutes in every single direction. I want to touch on, before we get out of here, I want to touch on what's going on with Adam Cole. And I think I mentioned this on 265, where you can go check it out on the channel. Please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on my notifications. So when I do this upload thing, because my internet is doing crazy things. Anywho, it will be a sad day if we find out that Adam Cole is no longer be able to wrestle. Because this is now Vince McMahon's fault. Because if he didn't have him walk out of WWE, he wouldn't have gotten these concussions and torn labrum. Because AEW is completely different than WWE, because WWE is more safer. They do things a lot safer instead of taking callous risks. And that's going to be the downfall. And I just miss him a lot. And I'm hoping that things do turn and we get him back because he's sorely missed on television. Um, what else did I wanted to cover? Um, trying to think here. I think that's. Oh, I want to. This has nothing to do with wrestling. I got stuck when I was younger watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I watched had to watch it with my cousins. So then I got into it. I didn't get into it what like everybody else did. I watched the original version, and that was it. Um, we got word this morning that the Jason David Frank, the Green and White Ranger, has passed away due to suicide. And I'm going to reiterate, mental health is an issue. I have mental health. I'm right now dealing with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. 2017, I got hit by a bus. I got hit by a bus, and which caused me to get my shoulder worked on. I had shoulder surgery. I I have a scar on my thumb that if it would have went down another centimeter, I would have never had to use of my thumb. Um, because of that, when I go on a bus, it triggers something. And now with me having the PTSD and the depression and whatnot, because of my mother and everything got even more uprooted with my mother's passing, it's no joke. It's no joke whatsoever. I have days that I don't want to get out of bed. I have days that I don't want to be dealing with anything. I have days that I just stay in bed because I can't get up because I'm in physically I'm hurting because I'm so that's how depression is. It makes you physically hurt. I have also arthritis and psoriatic arthritis, and it doesn't help the situation. It exacerbates it. So we want to send out our condolences to the Jason David Frank family. May he rest in peace. And it's just more childhood memories that are slowly dying over time. But that is the end of AEW's full year. Please do me a favor. Please go check me out on all my social media at Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, Mel's Match Chat. And please also go check me out on Snapchat and Facebook. Also, please go check out harrys.com for all your shaving essentials and your toiletry needs. Please go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com. Also, go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Please go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. HOG Wrestling, House of Glory at hogwrestling.net. And go check out Sanctuary and Outbreak Wrestling from the greater Pennsylvania area. I also want to say, please be safe up in Buffalo where they have an obscenely amount of snow, and I don't feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for the people that can't get out and everything, but yeah, keep that shit up there. You can have it. Seriously, you can have it. Um, Also, I will be back here for episode 266 this Friday at 2 p.m. I'm hoping that I can go live. I'm gonna try it again. Also, please, I will be. No, I can't go live. I can't go live this week because my son's coming home. It'll be pre-recorded. Also, I will be pre-recording the preview and predictions for Survivor Series War Games. Um, I'm gonna record my review right afterwards, and then Sunday I'm gonna be with my son, and then Monday he goes back to school, and then it is what it is. So please go check everything out on my YouTube channel. Um, Also, please enjoy the preparations of getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'm a little nervous. I'm cooking my first turkey. Please, for the love of God, give me the strength. And I will see you Friday at 2 p.m., which will be uploaded at 2 p.m. All right. Have a great rest of your weekend. And AEW is done. Love you all. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And I'm going to try to catch the rest of the Jet game. I love you all. Bye bye.